You're a 32-year-old theater actor who's so broke you're stealing ketchup packets from fast food joints to make tomato soup. Your biggest role this year? Playing a dead guy in a community theater production that 7 people attended? Your landlord just taped an eviction notice to your door. You've got 72 hours to come up with $2,400, or you're sleeping in your 1997 Honda Civic. Then he walks in. A man in a tailored black suit that costs more than your annual income. He doesn't knock. He just appears in your apartment like a glitch in the Matrix. He places a briefcase on your broken coffee table, opens it, and your heart stops. Cash. Stacks of $100 bills. $50,000. Next to the money is a single photograph. It's you. Except it's not you. You're standing next to the supreme leader, the dictator, who's ruled your country with an iron fist for 23 years. The resemblance isn't just close, it's identical. Same facial structure, same height, same scar on your left eyebrow from a childhood bike accident. You look like you were grown in the same lab. The man's offer is surgical and simple. Be the supreme leader's body double. Show up for boring public appearances while the real leader handles actual state business. Smile, wave, read speeches, shake hands. $10,000 per appearance. All you have to do is look presidential and keep your mouth shut. The alternative? He takes his briefcase, and you're homeless by Friday. You take the job, obviously. The training is intense. You spend 2 weeks in a secret compound, learning how the supreme leader walks, talks, and holds a champagne glass. You memorize his signature. You practice his cold, calculating smile in the mirror until your face hurts. They dye your hair his exact shade of silver black. They teach you to hate questions and love the sound of your own voice. Your first gig is a hospital ribbon-cutting ceremony. You show up in his motorcade, surrounded by armed guards who would ventilate anyone who looked at you wrong. You read the speech off a teleprompter about healthcare being a right for all citizens, which is hilarious because this regime has been selling medicine on the black market for decades. You smile. You wave. The crowd cheers because they're contractually obligated to not get disappeared. Easy money. You walk away with $10,000 cash and 0 blood on your hands. You pay your rent for 6 months in advance. You sleep like a baby for the first time in years. But on your third appearance, something shifts. You're at a military parade, decked out in the supreme leader's ceremonial uniform, with enough medals to stop a bullet. The real dictator is stuck in emergency UN meetings, managing some international crisis. You're just there to look strong and wave at tanks. Then General Kozlov approaches. 3 stars on his shoulder, a sidearm on his hip, a scar running down his face that suggests he earned his rank in blood, not paperwork. He says rebel forces just bombed a government supply depot. 12 soldiers dead. He needs immediate orders for retaliation. His hand is resting on his pistol, and his eyes are asking a question your training never prepared you for. Are you strong enough to lead? Your handler isn't here. Your script didn't cover this. You're alone, and this general is watching you like a predator deciding if you're food or competition. You realize the horrifying truth of your job. If you show weakness, the generals will decide the supreme leader isn't fit to rule anymore, and you'll catch a bullet meant for him. If you act too strong and give actual military orders, the real dictator will think you're trying to stage a coup, and you'll catch a bullet meant for you. You're standing on a tightrope made of razor wire, and both sides lead to a grave. You take the gamble. You look General Kozlov dead in the eye and say, "Do exactly what the supreme leader would do in this situation." You know his mind better than anyone. The general's face shifts. He nods slowly, salutes, and walks away. You just gave an order without giving an order. You survived by being a perfect mirror, reflecting their expectations back at them without adding anything of your own. But the tests get worse. At a state dinner with foreign diplomats, an ambassador from a rival nation publicly insults the regime's human rights record. The room goes silent. Generals are watching. Diplomats are watching. If you let it slide, you look weak. If you overreact, you create an international incident the real dictator will have to clean up, and he'll clean you up in the process. You smile. It's not a warm smile. It's the smile of a shark that just spotted blood in the water. You say, "How unfortunate that you've confused criticism with a suicide note. My guards will escort you out, permanently. Just vague enough to be a threat. Just specific enough to be taken seriously." The ambassador is deported by morning. The generals nod with approval. You're walking the tightrope in the dark, and somehow You haven't fallen yet. 6 months in, you're too good at this. That's when the real nightmare begins. The Supreme Leader has a massive heart attack during a classified meeting with his inner circle. The doctors say he'll be in a medically induced coma for at least 2 weeks, maybe more. Your handler shows up at 3 a.m. with new instructions that make your blood freeze. You have to be him, not just play him at ceremonies. You have to run the country, sign executive orders, make cabinet decisions, meet with generals. If anyone discovers the Supreme Leader is in a coma, the generals will smell weakness like sharks smell blood, and they'll rip the government apart in a military coup. Both you and the real dictator will be executed, your bodies dumped in unmarked graves. For 14 days, you live in pure psychological hell. You move into the presidential palace. You sleep in his bed. You sit in his chair at cabinet meetings, surrounded by men who've orchestrated thousands of deaths. Every decision is a potential execution order for someone else, or for you. General Kozlov comes to you with a request. 50 political prisoners are scheduled for execution. He just needs your signature to proceed. Your hand is shaking as you hold the pen. If you sign, you're a mass murderer. If you refuse, you look weak, and Kozlov might decide to solve 2 problems at once, the prisoners and you. You say, I want to personally review each case file before proceeding. Justice must be thorough. You never review the files. You just hide the paperwork in a drawer until the real dictator wakes up. 50 people stay alive because you're a coward who's good at stalling. The Supreme Leader wakes up on day 15. You're certain you're about to be shot in the back of the head and buried in the palace garden. Instead, he reviews everything you did. Every decision. Every signature. Every speech. You're sweating through your shirt, waiting for the order. He promotes you. You're now the official, permanent body double. Mandatory for life. Congratulations. You realize the promotion is actually a death sentence with a salary. You can never quit. You know too much. You've seen too much. The only way out of this job is a bullet, a car accident, or a tragic poisoning. You're trapped in a golden cage, and the door was welded shut the second you opened that briefcase. Months pass. You're at a massive political rally, giving a speech about national strength and unwavering loyalty. 50,000 people are chanting your name. Except, it's not your name. It's his. You're screaming propaganda into a microphone, and the crowd is eating it up like gospel. Then you see him. The real Supreme Leader. He's in the crowd, wearing civilian clothes and sunglasses, watching you perform as him. You're mid-sentence, talking about crushing dissent and maintaining order. And you lock eyes with him through the sea of faces. His expression is pure, calculated rage. You realize with absolute horror what you've done wrong. You've gotten too good at being him. The crowd loves you more than they love him. You're a better dictator than the dictator. You've committed the ultimate sin. You've made him replaceable. That night, your handler tells you the Supreme Leader wants a private meeting. No guards, no witnesses, just you and him. This is it. You walked the tightrope perfectly, and that was your mistake. You should have stumbled. You should have been forgettable. But you performed too well, and now you're a threat that needs to be neutralized. As you're driven through the dark streets toward the palace, the driver takes an unexpected turn. You're not heading to the palace, you're heading toward the mountains. You reach for the door handle. It's locked. You try to scream. Soundproof glass. The car accelerates. The brakes fail. You tumble off a cliff into a 300-foot ravine. As the world spins and metal crunches, your last thought is the cruelest irony of all. You spent so long pretending to be someone else that you forgot the most important performance of your life, staying unremarkable enough to survive. The next morning, state television reports a tragic assassination attempt. The Supreme Leader's heroic body double sacrificed his life to protect the nation. They're giving you a state funeral with full military honors. The Supreme Leader will attend. He'll cry on camera. He'll call you a patriot and a hero. And somewhere in the capital, another broke actor is staring at a briefcase filled with $50,000 and a photograph, about to make the exact same mistake you did, thinking you can play a dangerous man without becoming dangerous yourself. The system doesn't need good actors, it needs disposable ones. That's all for today. This story is fiction, but history is full of body doubles who learn too late that the only role with job security is the one no one remembers. If this one hit different, drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. Subscribe for more dark truths they don't teach in theater school. Catch you next time.